And but anyway, Goldman wasn't really a fan. He thought Jason was lazy and didn't want to learn anything, which I didn't see at the time, but I kind of understood it. And people saw me helping Jason out, and they kind of took note of the fact that I was working so closely with him. So I got my first aid and CPR certification for the safety leadership team, and was basically told that I should be doing safety audits and safety talks periodically about hazards or potential hazards or behaviors or safety equipment, and kind of make sure to preemptively identify any problems that might happen. And I was doing that, and I took it pretty seriously. I was very happy with this new responsibility and the pay that came with it. But pretty quickly, I saw that under this new management, people were getting fired. And people did not previously get fired. And I'm talking about, it was one person per day kind of thing for a while, and then it tapered off, and periodically someone else would get fired. Now, this wasn't happening on our shift until one day. One of the guys I work with came up to me after work, and he's like, "They just fucking fired me, bro." I was like, What are you talking about? What for?" And he said, "They said my numbers are shitty." And I was like, "Well, that's because of the machine you work on is not capable of producing that much." And he said, "Yeah, they don't fucking know that. That Jason dude started coming up to me and being a fucking asshole to me and treating me like I was dog shit, asking me why my numbers are so low. And when I explained to him, he just tells me I'm making excuses." And I was like, I've never heard him talk to anybody like that, but that's shitty. Why didn't you tell Mike? And he said he was the one who fired me. I thought, so these guys don't understand that you do the best someone could do over there on that machine? And he's like, "No, they don't fucking know shit. All they do is look at numbers and say, oh, well, he's dicking off, so get rid of him." I was like, well, what did Marianne say? And he said nothing. Now, this was a huge shock to the whole shift, because the guy that got fired was a hard worker. Like, he did the best that he could do, and he was helping other people out as well. He would go to the other areas so that they could have a break, and he would work their job while they went to break, so we didn't have to shut stuff down. But this kind of stuff wasn't resonating at the top for whatever reason. People didn't understand this. And I thought, well, what if that were me, And little by little, morale changed to the point where people were fearing for their jobs, whether or not they deserved to get fired. We watched several people who were good at their job get fired, either because people at the top didn't understand what was needed and why things were the way they were, or they didn't care, or they just needed fewer people I mean, Goldman told me they were trying to trim the fat, but the people they were trimming weren't fat, and no new person was going to do better than these people. And eventually, I was working so closely with Jason and helping him out that he would ask me about certain people, and he would ask me my honest opinion on people, and I started to realize that he was going to take what I said and use it to make determinations on these people's future, which is an uncomfortable position to be in. And I quickly began to realize about Jason is that he had no desire to take the time to learn the intricacy of what we did, why we needed to do certain things, or to actually get his hands dirty and work alongside us. He just wanted to sit there and show the numbers to Mike at the end of the day, regardless of how we got them. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of these guys didn't speak English very well. So whatever was said about them to Mike was left up to Jason and whatever he wanted to say. And 90% of what Jason did was play politics, shift the blame, and kind of throw people under the bus. And these guys that didn't speak English very well, they had no way to defend themselves. And eventually, it was so bad, and I talked to Goldman, and Goldman said, that motherfucker has to go. He's not doing anything, and he's taking credit for the work, and he's harassing people. And I said, what? He said, yeah, he's going up to people asking them why their numbers are low, or what the hell they're doing, like, just bothering them. And I thought, well, he hasn't done that to me. And he said, well, that's because you help him. That's because you work so closely with him. He doesn't want to piss you off. And I hadn't considered that, to be honest. So I asked Johnny if he had heard from any of the other guys who spoke Hmong what Jason had said to him. And Johnny basically told me that he had gone up to every one of those guys and talked down to them and disrespected them and almost harassed them. And I trust Johnny's word, and if Johnny told me this, it must be true. So I thought, alright, now's a good time to talk to Marianne. Now, if you'll recall, Marianne was the HR rep for this company, who had previously told me I was like a son to her. And most of the time that her and I talked, it was just life advice and mentoring and that kind of stuff. I had a very special relationship with Marianne. And I go to her and I make some small talk, and she says, so, how's Jason? He seems to like you a lot. He says you're really helpful. And I thought, well, I wish I could say the same about him. And she kind of goes quiet for a minute, like she is contemplating whether to tell me what she's about to tell me. And she says, candidly, you're not the first person to say that. And I thought, okay, I hope not. Great. So how long is this going to go on? And Marianne tells me, this is a very delicate situation. Obviously, Jason's not working. And I was like, yeah, no shit. He's fired a couple people who didn't deserve to be fired. And she says, yeah, I know. But we can't just get rid of him. And I thought, why not? This is like, isn't this a right to hire, right to fire state? Like, why can't you get rid of him? And she says, it's because he's black. And I thought, so? Like, what does that matter? And she said, well, in situations like this, unless you have a strong case against somebody, or you have a strong reason for firing somebody, you can be sued for unlawful discrimination. And she said her ass would be on the line for that. And I thought, yeah, but that's not what this is. And she said, it doesn't matter. A case can be presented. We have to be incredibly careful. Mike likes him, but I see right through him. And I was like, well, can't you do anything? And she said, no, not really. What you guys tell me is all that I have to go on. So I need your help with this. And I thought, you want me to help get him fired? But I quickly determined that if it wasn't him, it was going to be someone else who didn't deserve it. The more time Jason spent there, the more likely it was that some of the people I worked with were going to get the shit end of the stick and be berated, fired for, stuff that they might not necessarily have done, or stuff that wasn't even their fault, or Jason's lack of ability to accept responsibility for certain situations. So I agreed, and I thought, I asked Marianne, well, what do I need to do? And she said, just work closely with him, and everything that you see that he shouldn't be doing, you just tell me about it. I'm building a case, but this takes time. And I was like, all right. Because I trust Marianne. The two people at that company that I truly trusted were Marianne and Goldman. So I agreed to do it, and as time went on, things did get worse. A couple more people got fired, and I would go to Marianne and be like, how much longer does this take? And she's like, I can't do it until we have a strong leg to stand on. And I was like, what does Mike say about this? And she says, well, Mike's giving him chances right now. Anyone that comes in as a supervisor is obviously going to make some mistakes right off the bat. And I was like, so other people have to pay for that? How many people have to pay the price for his mistakes? If this guy's not even going to be here long term, why is he allowed to get rid of people? Why? And she said, just be patient and keep doing what you're doing. The entire time this is going on, I kind of had an experience with Jason firsthand, because Mike tasked us, the safety leadership team, was coming up with a mission statement. Mike was really big on having a mission statement to